Okay, so looking back at the photo where Jordan's holding the microphone, is it weird seeing the position that he's in now?
I guess I wouldn't have guessed then, looking at that picture, that actually he was going to move into music and be so prolific, in terms of his lyrics. So yeah, it's strange looking back at that and then seeing him now so comfortable on the stage. But in a way, I guess it demonstrated that he was just so comfortable performing and wanted to perform.
What was your role with Jordan not using profanity?
I wanted him to be able to express himself. I mean, to swear and use cuss words, what does that say about you? And I felt that it was really important if my child was going to be expressing himself in public, that he learnt to do that in a way that was meaningful and not just following the crowd and I guess a sort of almost simplistic way of expression. If you've got feelings, express them, but profanity doesn't do that.
I know you're very focused on education. Would you say John was able to balance his schoolwork with music?
I think it's been a struggle for him to balance music and schoolwork. He seemed to really take off music-wise just at those crucial points in terms of his education when he was doing GCSEs and then A-levels. He had to go to Washington just 2 months before his A-levels started. He's tried hard. I think he's really tried hard, but he's obviously creative and an artist, and I can tell sometimes that takes over.
Would you say his general character is reflected in his music?
Yeah, I think his moods, the phase he's in mentally, he really does express what's going on for him through his music. I'm really glad he does that, because I always felt that the music he produces ought to be true to him, who he is, how he is, where he lives, his context, his age. And I think by and large he's done that, and we see that as the different phases of his music have developed.
I know he had past issues with his temper, so would you just like to speak about that, just like dealing with it and stuff?
Yeah, he's been a tough cookie. He's been angry at times. I think, sometimes had so much to say he's not known how to say it. So he is a strong character. It can make it a little bit difficult, really, in terms of managing that, trying to get him to reflect on himself and explore what that means. I'm not sure he's even totally ready yet to explore what that means. I think music, though, became a bit of a channel for frustration, anger, for expressing how he felt about certain situations. And to be honest, that's a healthy expression of anger. So I'd rather he's doing that than slamming doors or going out causing, having problems with people.
You mentioned that he went to Washington, and I know you went with him. So what was it like going out there?
Wow, what a fabulous experience. I was shaking and anxious for him, but he handled it so well. I mean, this was a stage in front of, I don't know, maybe about 700 or so people at a really big conference at the Smithsonian, and where he's sort of promoting the United Nations. These were significant people from around the globe, and getting your message across, the fact that they even wanted him there to express that message about sustainable development goals was just amazing. It was a fantastic experience.
If you had to describe him in one word, what would the word be?
Well, I guess his dad and I have described him as intense. I'd say he's quite determined, and I know that's more than one word, but he's the kind of guy who has to do it his way. So yeah, sorry, not one word.
What do you think about his work ethic?
When it comes to his music, I think he's actually intense, awesome, really focused. I think that might make it hard for other people working with him, but his drive and determination, I think, will really propel him far. He just needs to be able to channel that.
With him going to university at Ravensbourne, do you think it's a good place for him to sort of develop his skills and it may not be like rapping, but get into the music career?
I think it's, Ravensbourne's fantastic. It's a creative university. It's a real opportunity to embrace creative skills, to network with people, and to really decide kind of how he can make a career for himself in this sector. So I really hope he makes the most of it. That means you have to kind of be really open-minded, experiment, take risks. So I really hope that he embraces that. I think it's definitely the right place for him to be.
I know these videos aren't on his channel anymore, but there was one of the videos that you helped a lot with.
That was his first one.
Do you want to speak how you helped him with the video?
So I think this was his, maybe first or second, I think it was his first video that he produced, where, he was really coming up with ideas. It was called Hometown, and he wanted to say something about himself. And quite often Jordan and I sit down and we talk about his music, his thoughts, his ideas. He'll share lyrics with me. And that was one of those days, I think, after school where we were just talking about it and what he wanted to say. And just the idea came up that, actually his story was about thinking back to his hometown, Croydon, where he was born and sort of grew up those first sort of 7 years or 6 or 7 years. And so we decided we'd take a car journey and just film coming back to his hometown. So I was driving, he was playing his music, and we were filming he was filming out of the window, just so we could just get that sense of time passing. So it was really lovely to be involved and for him to want to include me in that part of his developing career.
Did you tell Jordan to change his style of music? Because before it seemed like he was doing a lot of fast rapping, but now he sort of changed the way he does his music. So some could be fast and then some are quite slow.
I guess, I don't know if I told him. I don't think anyone can tell Jordan quite what to do. But he always asks me for feedback. And I love that he values my comments. Sometimes he ignores them. But, we were talking about the speed that he raps at and varying that, because sometimes couldn't quite catch what he was really saying and it might lose some of the meaning. So I guess I would ask him questions and help him to reflect and think about it, and encourage him to be creative and try different styles.
On a different note, what do you think his phobia is?
Phobia? Yeah. What, spiders?
Yeah.
Anything that's insect-like that moves.
Is there any stories like relating to...
Oh, wow. Oh, I don't know. There's been lots of stories. He's always running and screaming when he sees a spider or a wasp or something. I don't know if I've got...
What about the one in his... Was it the one in his room when our aunties were around ages? It was when we were like really young.
I can't remember that. I don't know. What happened?
I can't remember, but I think there was like a really big spider in his room, and then it was either you or Dad then had to get the Hoover or something to then try and get the spider.
Yeah, he is. Jordan is with all the courage it takes to go on a stage and perform, he's actually pretty timid when it comes to small insects. That is his thing. He really freaks out if there's a spider or a wasp. You'll see him running around and creating. And I do remember a time when actually it was a huge spider. In fact, recently there's been a huge spider in his room. So Jordan's first response is to run and scream. And then I come out with the Hoover and hoover it up, or gather it up and throw it outside. So yeah, with all the bravado and being able to to perform in front of a large audience. You know, actually what really stresses him out are insects and spiders.
Okay, thank you.
It's okay. It's a pleasure. You need any retakes?
Also, proper look.
I know how to do it. It's so because then if he cuts, he doesn't have to. If he cuts, and I gesticulate a lot, but if you cut, you don't have a hand up here and a hand down there, do you?
Yeah.
I remember that from my days of trying to do the questions, even though I wasn't doing the present stuff, but sometimes as the researcher, you'd be asking them.
Yeah,
So do you want to check it? Check it out, and if you need me to do any more.
Well, it should be fine. It should be fine.
You're going to get enough in there, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, it's
enjoyed that. You were
It's
lovely.
dinner ready.
You're very good, Jared.
I just have to think about the question.